WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Operation Refuge. Operation Refuge is going to be talking this morning about an event that they have coming up, which is going to try and encourage people to get vaccinated, as well as to make certain that if people want to get tested, they can be tested for the COVID-19 virus. Everybody understands this is a real crucial time. This pandemic has really done a lot when it comes down to the quality of how people are living. People don't realize, too, that this virus is still affecting people. We've lost a lot of people in this past year and a half. We've lost loved ones. We've lost friends, co-workers. We've lost a number of people. Even here at WHPR, we've lost some of our family that we have been hosting shows with here at WHPR. The thing is that at that time, there was not a vaccination that could be disseminated to individuals that may have contracted the COVID-19 virus. People were getting tested, but when they got tested, they found out that they had it, and either they had different options, either to go into the hospital, some lost their voices, some lost their sense of smell, people lost the opportunity to be able to go, and they even had problems with breathing. So what we realized too was that when people were put on those ventilators, there were people that went into the hospital that were so ill, and they made transitions to be with the Lord because of underlying conditions that people were going through. So the thing is that we are making certain with Operation Refuge that individuals that may want to get tested can come and they can get tested at the location that my special guest, Denise Franklin, is going to talk about. But the important part, too, is that even if you get tested, it's another thing to make certain, too, that if you have not gotten vaccinated, that you do get vaccinated. As most of you know, there's 3 different types of vaccinations. There's the Pfizer, there's the Moderna, and there's the Johnson & Johnson. Most of you probably know, too, that there's also a booster shot that individuals can get as well. The booster shot is given after you've gotten the first, in the case of the Johnson & Johnson, or the first 2 in the case of the Pfizer or the Moderna vaccinations. So what Operation Refuge is going to do is that they have a program where they're saying, hey, this coming Thursday is Turkey Day to some. This day is also a day that people break bread together. They have their turkeys, their hams. In some cases, they may eat chitlins or whatever the case may be. But the bottom line is people get together and they break bread together. So it would be important that if you are breaking bread with someone, that you go and get tested and or to get vaccinated if you haven't been vaccinated. as what they're saying in their promotion is make sure that you stay healthy for grandma. Make sure that you're not giving grandma anything or anybody else there. Giving grandma, who did all that work to fix the meal, that she won't get sick as a result of the virus. So they're really pushing, and this is something that Pastor Velma Jean Overman that came up with this concept because she wants to make sure that nobody's grandma, grandpa, anybody gets ill. So my special guest today is Denise Franklin, and Denise is going to talk a little bit about what Operation Refuge is going to do this coming Wednesday. Denise, welcome to the show today.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Now, talk about the event that you've got going on. What's happening this coming Wednesday?
This Wednesday at Christ Temple City of Refuge Church in Inkster, Michigan, at 27741 Carlisle, from 11 to 3, we are doing COVID testing, and we're doing the rapid test, and we're doing the 24-hour, 3-day test, and we're also doing vaccines. And our whole campaign is meet with your family on Thanksgiving and be confident that you're safe and grandma and grandpa are safe and your grandchildren are safe so you can enjoy your meal together. So we are encouraging everyone just to come out on Wednesday, get your test, and you'll know within an hour whether you're positive or not. And on Thursday, you can go to dinner and enjoy your family without the fear of anybody getting sick behind it. So, I think it's an excellent idea, and I'm encouraging my family, even though we've all been tested, to go Wednesday and be tested again, because we've got some family members coming over that we have not had Thanksgiving dinner with, grandparents. So, yeah, it's your grandparents, 1 hour, and the first 25 people will get $10. So that's just a little incentive we're going to throw in there. But
So the first 10 people that come to get tested?
The first 25 people that come to get tested will get $10. Okay. So that's it. And when after we get up to hundreds, they won't get anything, but they'll get the safety and the confidence of knowing that they're not infected. Because this disease is real. It's real, and it's taken a lot of people out, and it's caused a lot of illness within our families.
Now, when you say the testing, the different types of testing, what does the test consist of?
It's a nose swab.
Okay.
Both of them are a nose swab, and the first one they'll give you is a more in-depth nose swab. It goes a little deeper, and that's the one that comes back in 24 to 48 hours. We'll do that one, and then we do the rapid test, and that one you get your results in within an hour.
Within an hour?
Yes.
And now, are these results where they can print them out? Because, a lot of times people need to get the results to give to an employer or give to somebody else. So they do have the option of being able to print the results out.
From their phone or their computer, because they will email you or text you with the results. So yes, you can have it. You can show your employer your phone, or you can print it out from your phone. But
yeah, because that's real critical. Because I know a lot of people. I know the same thing because I know I work with the election commission, on election day, and that was something that we were required to have a vaccination, to show our vaccination card, as well as to show the test that we most recently had.
Correct.
As well.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now, when people come to get the vaccination, are they going to? They're going to be disseminated out a card then that indicates that they have been vaccinated.
Yes. Yes.
Now, if somebody has been vaccinated, the first vaccination, they're able to go and get the second vaccination with you if they haven't had a set appointment to get the second vaccination.
Yes, it's on a walk-in basis. You don't have to make an appointment. You just show up, and we will give you the vaccination and the test.
And it's all three vaccinations, or is it one in particular?
I'm not sure. I think it changes from time to time, what vaccination we'll have, but you can call in advance and find out which one we've got available that day. I know in the past we've had Moderna.
Okay. So give that number, since we just segued to that point. Give
Two
that number so they can call.
27741 Carlisle Street, Inkster, Michigan. And the number to call, you can call 734-709-7806 to find out an update on which vaccine we will be having that day.
And now, is there a website that somebody can go on as well?
Yes, you can go to Operation Refuge, and that is, hold on just a minute, www.operation.org for information.
Operation Refuge.
Refuge.org.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now the important part that people really need to really understand too is that getting the vaccination does one of several things, and we're just going to let our listening audience and our viewing audience know that if you get the vaccination, make sure that you follow up with Operation Refuge or wherever you get the vaccination from. Make sure you follow up with them, because it's imperative that if you get the first one, you get the second one, and then just as Denise was saying too, to make certain too that if there is a booster shot available, you can get that as well too. The booster shot is important because of the variants that are existing out here, that people still, there's a Delta variant, there's other variants that people could also contract. So the booster is very, very important to follow up. In the beginning, the booster shot was available to people to get the booster after 8 months of them getting the second vaccination with the Pfizer or the Moderna, or after getting the first one, which was the only one that they could get through the Johnson & Johnson. Now they have it to where if you do need to get your booster shot, or if you do get your booster shot, you can get it 6 months after you got your second shot, or you got your first shot, or your only shot when it came to the Johnson & Johnson. Denise, talk about the importance of why people should get vaccinated. I know you mentioned before about what's going on when it comes down to making certain that grandma, grandpa, everybody else is all healthy. But talk a little bit more about the vaccination and the importance.
Well, it's very important because, like I said, people are getting sick, people are dying, and for myself personally, I have grandchildren, and I want to be able to spend time with them. My family has all had COVID, and we're all vaccinated, and we're in the process of getting our children. I've got one grandson that's vaccinated. He's 12, and my 10-year-old and 9-year-old, they're still weighing it out. The 10-year-old's going in the near future, it's probably sometime this week, to get his vaccine. And so you never want to have the thought in your mind that I brought a disease to my family that could potentially cause them to die, to have health issues. It's very important that we keep our community, our family safe. And that's why we wear a mask. That's why we're vaccinated. Because you find so many people that say they're vaccinated, they don't wear a mask, but they may not be. And that's detrimental to our community. My kids are in school all day long. They're wearing a mask. Some of them are vaccinated, some of them are not. They ride the school bus. It's important to be vaccinated. If we don't get vaccinated, we're going to keep on this hamster wheel forever. So if everybody gets vaccinated, we can get back to some sort of normal life. My brother and sister had it, and they were deathly ill. They thought they were going to die. So it's important. It's important to look out not just for your family, yourself, but your community. The people in the state of Michigan. People are flying, people are traveling, and you don't know who you've come in contact with. So it's important that we as a nation of people take this seriously, take another look at it, and go and get our vaccine. You know, we vaccinated for every other issue, for measles, I mean, we get a tetanus shot when we need it. So this is something we've got to do.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, when I first found out that they were offering the vaccination, I made every strides to go get vaccinated. And I had to get my booster shot about a month ago. And that was something that I looked at and I said, hey, I waited because I got my second dose February the 25th. And then that gave me the opportunity to say, all right, well, here I'm looking at 8 months from then. But then when they kind of changed the time and said, all right, well, instead of waiting 8 months, it could be 6 months. I'm like, fine, let's do it. Because I was just anxiously waiting to get my booster shot. And one thing, too, that I'll say to people that may not have gotten their vaccinations, some people, it varies on how the vaccinations may affect them. Some people are saying that there's no symptoms, no any illness or any ailment after they get the vaccine. And that was the case with me. I didn't have a stomach ache, didn't have any headache, didn't have any temperature or anything of that nature. Some people have different reactions to getting the vaccination. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that I had all three, didn't have any, but I have talked to people that have had reactions to either the first or the second or even the booster. But the thing is that there's differences of how you weigh in on this. As you know, Denise, you can be sick for a minute, or you might be sick for a long time, or you could make a transition.
That's right.
I would rather have a little bit of discomfort than not to be able to experience anything at all. Because as you said, you've known people that contracted it. I've known people that have contracted it. And I've known people that have passed as a result of contracting it. One of the things that we have to make certain of is that if people do not want to get vaccinated, we're trying to encourage people, as you just said, we want to get back to some sense of normalcy.
Right, right.
We've had situations before. Just like you said, I still have my mark on my arm where I got vaccinated when I was a child.
5 years old.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, there was the MMR, the measles, mumps, and rubella.
Yes.
That people got the shot to make certain that they did not transmit anything into the schools. And then the same thing when it comes down to other, just like even the tuberculin shot. Mm-hmm. When people want to be tested for tuberculosis, they still have to get a shot and do it. And the other thing, too, is that we're going to talk about in our next segment, talk about some of the myths that people have about the vaccination and about what's actually put into your arm when you are vaccinated. Just like here at the studio, Henry Tyler, R.J. Watkins make certain here at the studio that there's protocols that people use. They have right now, there's a mist that's going on in terms of, say, the hydrochloroquine that they have that goes on that's in the studio. They also have people that have to wear, in terms, say, you got, leastways it's just like with us. I have my mask on, Denise doesn't. If there's anything that happens, it's not anything that could be transmitted between either of us. Because if I had it or she had it or something like that, if we were carrying, one of us has got the mask on, so I can't transmit it. That's the reason why you wear masks. So you can't transmit it to somebody else, nor can you contract it from somebody else who doesn't have a mask on. So when you go to places, you want to make certain the social distancing is met. People are telling you to stay 6 feet apart. As people notice when they look on the floors on the different restaurants or standing up in the line to pay for a purchase at a dollar store or a supermarket, they're still adhering to the protocols
Yes.
that people are having about making certain that you stay safe.
Yes.
And the other thing too is that a lot of people now are still not wearing masks, but when they don't wear the mask, as long as if somebody else is wearing a mask, then you can't breathe in or you can't exhale something to give to somebody else. So now the other thing is that when we talk about the vaccinations, let's talk a little bit about when you're going to be making every stride to try and go and get people to get vaccinated, correct?
Correct.
So that's the reason why we're having this show today, to try and let people know if you want to get tested or you want to get your vaccination, you can do that. Now, how are some of the ways? I know you were telling me before we started the show that you're going to be also doing some phone banking
Yes.
to kind of get in contact with people to let people know. Talk about how that's going.
So far, we've reached out to, and we've only been doing it about a week, more than 1,000 people. We're concentrating on the Romulus and Inkster area, and we're just giving them information as to what we do at Christ Temple City of Refuge on Wednesdays, and also that they can go to the health department, different avenues where they can go and get the test, and where they can go and get the vaccine as well. So we're getting all that information out via phone. So I got to have a team of about 6 people, and we're working every day except Sundays and holidays to reach out via phone to get this information out to people. And some people are receptive and some are not. So
When you say they're receptive, describe, what are they saying?
some people are thankful for the information. They want more. They want to know the websites. They want to know the phone numbers. And then you have some people that say it's none of your business and hang up.
Okay.
So we're getting a variety. We're getting a variety.
Well, and that's the one thing that some people are afraid that if they don't get the vaccination, that they may get terminated from their place of employment, because there are mandates now that are coming down from even Washington, D.C., that are telling people that you must get vaccinated to continue working at your workplace.
Well, that's we're going to do a segment on that in one of our town halls or virtual, to vaccinate or not. Because people have a lot of different ideas about that. A lot of people believe that the government should not mandate us to vaccinate. That should be a personal choice. And I'm not going to give my view, but and that's a lot to think about, because we've always in the past been able to opt out. You have people that have never taken vaccines of any type, and you have those that have taken them all. So you have two sides of one coin. So you have to allow people. I personally don't think that they should mandate, but I think that they should mandate regular testing. If you're not going to take the vaccine in the workplace, then they should do regular testing. So.
And that's one of the things that I think that people really didn't really realize too, is that there's a lot of myths that people have about whether to or whether not to. Just like, and a lot of families were even separated, in terms of say on if one person did, one person didn't, want to get vaccinated. You had situations where one person contracted it, and then what happens to the rest of the people in the household that may be around that individual. And you've had situations with people where some people were questioning about, well, we had a president that was saying and talked about the herd immunity was the way that he was looking at it, that everybody go out and get it. Everybody be around folks that's got it. Don't wear your mask. Don't observe the social distancing. And it's like, get it, because I think some people really feel like, okay, if one child gets the measles or the chicken pox, expose the other children to it. So they'll all have the measles or the chicken pox at the same time. And I think that was the concept that this former president was saying, the same thing, that people, and it wouldn't last any long length of time, because as far as say the time that most people have when they contract the virus is usually anywhere from a week to 2 weeks. So in most cases, what most people are doing is saying, if you contract it, quarantine for 14 days, then get tested again. If you do contract it, the main thing is, as Denise is saying, get tested to see if you still do carry the virus.
Yes.
And if you do get tested again, get everybody else in your household tested. Denise, we've got a few more minutes left. Give your contact information and we'll make some following, remarks. But give the contact information and tell again the name of the church, the date, the time that you're going to be testing.
The date is November 24th, Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, and it's 27741 Carlisle Street, Inkster, Michigan, and the time is 11 to 3. We will be doing COVID testing, the rapid test, and the 48-hour test, and we will be doing vaccines. So that if you come in and get your rapid test on Thanksgiving Day, you can be with your family and enjoy your dinner. So we are urging everybody, and the first 25 people that come out will receive $10. So
$10 gift card.
a $10 gift card.
Okay. And then if somebody doesn't know, if they need to find out specifically what vaccination that you're going to be distributing out, they can go on your website and be able to find that information out.
Yes.
If you're going to be giving the Pfizer, the Moderna, or the Johnson & Johnson.
Yes, and that website is www.operationrefuge.org,
Okay.
and they can find that information.
Okay. Any closing remarks before we wrap up this segment?
I just want to encourage everyone to take this seriously, and please come out to Christ Temple on Wednesday and be tested. Be tested. Enjoy this Thanksgiving. Let's put this thing to rest. Let's get our vaccines. Let's get our vaccines, the Detroit community and surrounding areas, and enjoy our Thanksgiving this year. And then we can enjoy Christmas. If you get vaccinated and you get tested, we can get back to living life normally.
Now, who are you partnering with? Who are you partnering with?
The United Way of Southeastern Michigan, and
You said United Way in Southeast
United
Michigan?
Way of Southeastern Michigan,
Okay.
and Operation Refuge and Christ Temple City of Refuge. The three of us have partnered together to make this happen.
Okay. Well, Denise Franklin, thank you for coming on today.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
talking about. Thank you for making certain that this message is very, very vital. And we definitely want to thank Pastor Velma Jean Overman for making certain that this message is disseminated out to so many people. And again, the thing is that we want to make certain when you go to have lunch or to have dinner on Thanksgiving Day, or even breakfast with your loved ones or your family, get tested, get vaccinated if you haven't been vaccinated already. Denise, thank you for coming on. This has been great. God bless you. God bless all of the individuals that are working with you to make this happen. And we know that this will be a very, very great success in trying to bring normalcy to what's been going on. Because as one thing I'll say before we wrap this segment up, look at what was happening last Thanksgiving. Some people were encouraged not to break bread or enjoy the holiday with their loved ones. This year, some things have kind of gotten a little bit back to normal, but still take precaution. Still make certain, get vaccinated. Operation Refuge, this is Denise Franklin. I'm Darwin Griffin, and want to thank you for for getting an opportunity to stay with us during this time. And please make certain, take advantage of what Denise was saying, get vaccinated and get tested. Thank you and have a good rest of this day.
Environment is so friendly. Always feel like home.
We have so much support from the staff. You meet people who are like you.
I always had a passion to help others, so this is the perfect place for me.
Yana Afichu Bichao, Flora Kiwang, Cameroon,
Maklit Shonga, Ethiopia.
Javed Khan, Bangladesh.
Dennis Carrick, Bosnia and Herzegovina.
They give you what you need for the future.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine. To keep safe and strong. Be happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri, encouraging all taxpayers to please take advantage of the several payment options available.
You can pay online by visiting the Wayne County Treasurer's Office website. Paying online is easy and convenient.
You can also download the mobile app and pay with your smartphone.
You can pay at one of 70 kiosks located throughout Wayne County.
And yes, you can always still send in your payments using the U.S. Postal Service.
If you have to visit our office in person, you must make an appointment by going to treasurer.waynecounty.com. It only takes a few minutes. Facial covering or mask is required and social distancing is observed. Your health and safety is very important to us. You can also email our office at taxinfo@waynecounty.com or call us at 313-224-5990.
And thank you again to Operation Refuge. And what we're going to talk about now is we're going to discuss a forum that's going to be held on December the 11th. That's a Saturday from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And Denise Franklin, my guest, will talk about where that's going to be held at, as well as giving you the information pertaining to the type of forum that this is going to be. We understand too that there's a lot of people that are on both sides of the fence when it comes down to getting vaccinated. Some have, some haven't. They call it the people that have been vaccinated and those that are what they call anti-vaxxers, or people that don't want to get vaccinated. So what we want to do is to have a conversation with Operation Refuge and to talk about those that do not want to get vaccinated, to have them in a conversation with those that don't want to have the vaccination. So a lot of people are having this conversation. You look on the news, you'll see people that may be in workplaces, people even at churches, places of worship. So that's the key thing, is that we want to make certain that people see both sides of the story. So if you don't want to get vaccinated, this will be a very good forum for you to be able to go and look at, to hear from people that may feel like you, and then also on the other side of the coin, to hear from people that have gotten vaccinated. Just as Denise and others, myself, we've been vaccinated. And we just want to make certain, too, that people understand there are two sides to every coin. So, Denise, talk about that in terms of, say, with the viewing audience for Operation Refuge, when this is going to be and where it's going to be, and just talk about what some of the dynamics are going to be for this forum that we're going to have on the 11th.
Yes, it's going to be held at the Simmons Center in Inkster, and that address is 29150 Carlisle. And it's just a conversation with the community as to whether we are going to vaccinate or not, just to get those opposing opinions. So we've got 3 panelists that are for the vaccine, and that is Carl Baxter, Vicki Dobbins, and Betty Carter. And we have 3 that are against the vaccine, and that's Daniel Overman, Whitfield, and Gabriella Whitfield. So we're going to have a conversation, and we're inviting people to, I'm not sure if this one's on Eventbrite, but if you have any questions, if you can get them to us through the website, www.operationrefuge.org. But it's just going to be a conversation between them as to their opinions and their thoughts on to vaccinate or not. So
it's going to be a live.
It's going to be live. Correct? Yes, it's going to be live. And we're only, for this conversation,
we're only going to have between 10 to 20 people.
10 to 20 people that can be present.
Okay.
But we will have it on Facebook Live so that you can tune in.
Okay, so it will be streamed on Facebook Live.
It will be streamed, yes.
People can then also indicate a question that they may want to ask either side of the panel.
Correct.
Pertaining to those that are vaccinated and those that don't want to get vaccinated.
And this is, we've had a lot of, the driving force behind this with Operation Refuge and Christ Temple City of Refuge has been Pastor Jean Overman. She's she's the executive director of Operation Refuge, and she has been really putting these programs together along with yourself, as well as Jennifer Williams. And so I know Pastor Jean will be in attendance. I'm not sure about Jennifer, but and I'm sure you'll be there as well because you're facilitating.
Well, I heard I was going to be facilitating, so I guess I will be there.
So you'll be there. But yeah, so we're going to just have a conversation about why to vaccinate, and then those that say why not, why should we. So that's what we're looking forward on December 11th. I'm not sure of the time, but
well, I understand it's supposed to be from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock.
10
correct?
to 12. 10
Okay.
to 12.
And so the biggest thing is that we just want to make certain that people's opinions are respected.
Correct.
That people's opinions will be heard. And whether or not if you're on one side of the fence or the other side of the fence, you can still voice your opinion.
Correct. Yeah.
And at the same time, too, if you do have people that may be hard to convince of your stance, either to be vaccinated or not to be vaccinated, this will be a good forum to have them to watch the Facebook Live if they're not in the audience attending, to be able to go and kind of get some additional information so that if they do want, don't want, fine. But, you know, we're still trying to encourage people to get vaccinated. But it's just basically, it's not to be adversarial. It's basically just to try and convince, but to convince people in a very subtle way to, just as Denise, just as Pastor Overman, just as others, you know, Jennifer and others, we all have our varying opinions. And so it's a matter of, like I was saying, you know, I've been vaccinated. I've got my booster shot. I've lost loved ones that have not been vaccinated, but they didn't have the vaccination when they made their transition. Mm-hmm. I can't speak for anybody else, but I'm sure there's probably people that had not been vaccinated because they hadn't had the vaccinations out yet and made their transition last year probably would wish that they could have had the opportunity to get vaccinated. But we do know there are people that don't want to get vaccinated for a variety of different reasons. And that's what we want to make certain that everybody's opinion is going to be respected. Again, give the location where that's going to be held at again, and the time and the place.
The Simmons Center, which is located at 29150 Carlisle Street in Inkster, Michigan, and that is Saturday, December 11th from 10 until 12. So.
Okay. And primarily the main thing is that if you can't, come, because I think that, is it going to be, so you're going to stream it live so people can go and they can also submit their questions to the panelists.
Yes.
As to whether or not if they support being or not support being.
Well, I think it's going to be more so a conversation where you can listen in and hear the pros and cons, and then be able to come away with a better sense of why people don't want to get vaccinated and why they do. So I'm looking forward to that one, especially when you have a good group of panelists on, for and against. So.
Well, and that's the good thing about it too, is that you've got people that have been vaccinated that are definitely for it, and then you have people that haven't been vaccinated that may just need a little bit of other encouragement to go and get vaccinated.
Yes, because I tell you, when it comes to your house, you begin to operate differently.
How do you mean?
I know of one individual that never wore a mask, didn't talk about it, didn't think it was just everywhere. And when their loved one came down with it, they're walking around the house with Microban and disinfectant wipes. So it hits different when it's somebody that you love that comes down with this disease, It hits differently.
And one of the things that people don't really realize too is that if you have someone who has an underlying condition, it could affect them differently than it does somebody who may not have an underlying condition.
That's right.
And things that people, I think these are some of the things that everybody was hearing last year about persons that may have diabetes, may have high blood pressure, could be obese, could be people that may have MS, sarcoidosis,
asthma.
lupus, asthma, So those are underlying conditions that people have that make their immune system a little bit more susceptible to contracting the virus.
Yes.
And I think that's the issue, because I know a lot of people have had the cancer survivors from the different types of cancers, and if they're going through radiation, chemo, and taking some other medications, to offset the cancer, they also are vulnerable to contracting the virus, because when you have a lot of people that may have a compromised immune system, their immune system might be so busy fighting something that they don't have enough immune system built up to combat the virus.
That's
so
right.
give the location again real quick.
Yes.
And the time.
Simmons Center, 29150 Carlisle Avenue, and that's in Inkster, Michigan, from 10 to 12 on December 11th, Saturday, December 11th.
We hope that you will tune in. We hope that if you can't get an opportunity to come, that you will at least ways be able to go and take some information to give to your friends and loved ones. Thank you for Operation Refuge, encouraging people to get vaccinated. Stay healthy. Have a good rest of the day.
There's a new financial empowerment center located in the Wayne County Treasurer's Office on the 5th floor of 400 Monroe in Detroit.
If you or someone you know needs help with their finances, budgeting, and making monthly payments, the Detroit Financial Empowerment Center can help.
Wayne Metro Community Action Agency has counselors ready to provide free one-on-one counseling to help you address issues related to utility bills, taxes, and other financial matters. We can also help you improve your credit score.
The number of admissions for children for COVID-19 is alarming. Children are resilient, but this virus and its variants is wreaking havoc in our community. It's important that we keep our children healthy. And part of doing that during this pandemic is making sure that they receive the vaccine. The vaccine is safe, it's effective, and the best tool that we have for COVID-19. For those children that are eligible, please give them the COVID-19 vaccine.
And welcome to Operation Refuge. That's going to talk today with my special guest, Ms. Denise Franklin, about some of the myths that people have as it pertains to the virus, to this pandemic. A lot of people, when this first hit last year, there were a lot of conversation that people were having as to how did people get it? Where did it come from? Who was susceptible to getting it? What ages, nationalities, where you could be at when it comes down to how you contracted it, how you could go and combat the virus when you first were encountering it, or people that you were concerned about if they coughed, if they did anything. You know, there was a lot of things that people were really wondering about. People were going and saying that you got it based on surfaces that you touched. It was airborne. People were saying too how long it lasted in the air, or whether or not the masks were effective, or the different types of disinfectants that people could put on surfaces to keep you from contracting it. Why people needed to go and put bleach on surfaces to combat that. There was a lot of myths, a lot of rumor, but there were a lot of truths that people were understanding too, you know, especially how long a surface can be contaminated, and the effectiveness of masks, and also the effectiveness of whether or not if you wear a mask and cover not just your mouth, but cover your nose as well. Mm-hmm. Some people were even concerned about wearing face shields because they were concerned about whether or not if the face shields would be enough, because people were saying it could also get into your eyes. Any orifice on your face, those were places that the virus could land in. So that's what we're going to talk about right now, and that's the event that Operation Refuge is going to have on the 16th, which is a Thursday, from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And they're going to have panelists. This is all going to be Zoom, so it's not going to be, you know, but it's going to be live, so that if people have questions about some of the myths, some of the rumors, some of the falsehoods, some of the truths about the virus, about the pandemic, Operation Refuge is going to dispel myths. They're going to confirm truths. And this is going to be another great, great topic of conversation. Again, Denise Franklin, talk about that, what we're going to be doing on the 16th.
Okay, thank you. This is Thursday, December 16th from 6 to 8 p.m. And it is a virtual Zoom on destroying the myths. And this is Operation Refuge in conjunction with Christ Temple City of Refuge. And our pastor is Pastor Mac Hall Jr. and our executive director is Pastor Gene Overman. And so we're going to just go on Zoom and destroy some of the myths around COVID and the vaccine, and because there's a lot of stuff circulating around. So we just want to give people an opportunity to talk about it. You know, because a lot of things that we're fearful of, I find for myself, when it comes to fear, if you can voice an opinion and have someone listen, you're not as afraid. So we just want to destroy some of those myths surrounding this disease that we're dealing with.
Because I think that the thing is that people, when the virus first started, affecting people, last March, and some even before that time. But a lot of people really started taking real serious heed about what's really going on. And there was starting to be mandates from our Governor Whitmer here in the state of Michigan, as well as you're seeing other governors throughout the country that were telling their residents about wearing the mask, the social distancing, telling people to stay home. Essential personnel were only allowed to be out, telling people that they couldn't congregate in large numbers or even in small numbers. People were making transitions. And during those transitions, people could not attend funerals, homegoing services. People were not able to go to hospitals or to nursing homes to visit loved ones that were hospitalized. So now there's a lot that is changing because, as you were saying, now we're trying to get back to some kind of normalcy.
Yes.
But we're still not over everything yet. So there's a lot of concerns, a lot of myths, a lot of questions that people still have. That's what this is going to do, is to dispel some of the myths, as what Denise was saying. And then we'll have panelists that have been in the midst of this pandemic, people that have been in the hospitals, in the nursing homes, in the workplace. So there's mandates now that are coming about, so people don't understand what these mandates are. So people, if you don't want to get vaccinated, what could happen? If you do get vaccinated, what can happen? Go ahead.
So that's, you can register for this event on Eventbrite to join our virtual Zoom. And we will have the panelists that are going to talk about these myths. For myself personally, during this pandemic, we lost two loved ones, my dad and my mother-in-law, because we were not able to go. We visited, but I visited my dad on the deck where we had to stay 6 feet apart. And my husband visited his mom. You know, we wore the mask, we kept separated, and we actually had to wrap her in a blanket and take her to emergency when she got ill. You know, and these things are hard for people. And so, and we were frightened because back in May of last year, we didn't know very much about this disease. I didn't even see my own children. My daughters came and visited us in the driveway. The kids played basketball. We all had our masks. We stayed 6 feet apart. You know, so because we were frightened. And people are afraid of this vaccine because of some things that happened in the past. That's part of the reason. And the things that are going on within this country right now. So people are fearful, especially people in the Black community. People in the Black community have a tendency not to trust government. And you know as well as I do why. So we want to sit down and talk about some of these things and give people an opportunity to send in their questions and their comments during this live Zoom. So we're just going to talk. We just want to talk. People need to have a voice, and we're just giving people that voice on about December 16th.
Okay.
So.
And primarily you're going to have a variety of different panelists that are going to be a part of that. So you're going to have people from the health services, people that may be individuals that could be in the pastoral Alliance, so people in the church, because that's the other things too. People have different reasons why they may not or may have gotten vaccinated. Those that may have reasons why they're not getting vaccinated, that's one of the reasons why this panel is going to be important, to talk about dispelling the myths that people may have to why they're not going to get vaccinated.
Yes. You've always had people that didn't vaccinate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've always had those people that have opted out for that,
Mm-hmm.
and for religious reasons or personal reasons, and that's fine. But a lot of people today that have been vaccinated as children, because like we talked about earlier, we still got the spots on our arm from those 5-year-old vaccinations before we could go to kindergarten. So we just want to sit down and have a conversation with some experts to let people know. Don't believe all the myths. Do some research for yourself if you can, you know.
And that's important.
Yeah, it is important.
Do some, as Denise just said, do some research on your own too. But now, to wrap up, there's also going to be another Zoom that's going to be conducted on the 29th of December, which is going to do pretty much like a year-end wrap-up.
Yes, yes.
Talk a little bit about what's going on that day.
Yeah, on the 29th, the year in review, and we're just going to share with the community all the data that we have collected, all the programs we've implemented, just to let the community know what Operation Refuge and Christ Temple City of Refuge has done in conjunction with the United Way and with yourself to get the information out, get the vaccine out, get the testing out. So we just want to have a wrap up so everybody will know exactly how much work has been put into this. Because we've been working a long time on this.
And give a shout out to those individuals that probably have been doing a lot of this work, the hard work that they've been doing to try and make certain that the word is getting out there.
Yes, it would be my pastor, Pastor Matt Hall Jr. At Christ Temple City of Refuge in Inkster, Michigan. Pastor Velma Jean Overman, who is also a pastor at Christ Temple City of Refuge, and she is also the executive director of Operation Refuge, which is located in Inkster, Michigan. And we also have Jennifer Williams, who works hand in hand with Pastor Overman with Operation Refuge. So these are just a few of the workers, along with we've had numerous volunteers. We've even been able to pay people some stipends to get out. We did a door knocking campaign where we actually knocked on people's doors in Inkster to give them information, share the information about COVID-19 and how you can get vaccinated.
So we're going to basically just talk about a year in review.
Yes.
On the 29th.
Yes.
To pretty much like in the time will be given. Now, give the website again if people want to get more information about any of the services that you're going to be doing through Operation Refuge.
Yes, www.operationrefuge.org. And you can go on our website. You can also go on Christ Temple City of Refuge website or our Facebook page and find that information as well.
Sounds great. Okay. Well, we have had a lot of information that has been disseminated out by my special guest, Denise Franklin, and primarily all the different aspects about this vaccine, about vaccinations, about the people that may or may not want to get vaccinated, as well as how the virus has affected family and friends. So again, you've been watching Operation Refuge, discussing the vaccinations and about getting tested. We want to thank you for tuning in with us today. Make certain you get tested, you get vaccinated, so we can bring life back to some type of normalcy. Thank you again. Be safe. Have a great, great holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year. Stay blessed.